Synchronicity, clap. And we're back.
We're back again.
This is Quiet in the Back. I'm your host, Patrick William.
I am co-host, Austin Jenny.
And this week, we've got a disturbing film for you.
Truly revolting.
A Spanish language movie.
The Platform.
The Platform. Netflix produced.
Oh, I didn't know that, actually.
Boom.
That's good. That's harmonization.
Sample it.
Sample it.
This is a crazy movie.
Yeah.
It's, I guess you would call it an allegory.
Yeah, the whole thing.
It's a symbolic movie that sort of like represents ideas rather than being more concerned with telling a narrative story.
Yeah. I mean, the plot matters, but not that much.
Not more than the ideas.
No, not even close.
Yeah, the story was written, obviously, to communicate ideas. And you can walk away from this movie without knowing the resolution of the story.
Yeah.
Because, spoiler, it doesn't give you any.
At all. There's no satisfaction in knowing what happens.
But it's because it's not important. What's important is what's being represented by the scenes you're watching.
Yes.
Right? That's why I think it's an allegory.
And what are we being represented? What is this movie showing us, Patrick?
Well, it depends on whose analysis you're reading. I did just read a semi-schizophrenic Christian interpretation of like Mary Magdalene and Jesus.
Yes, the Illuminati was involved.
The Illuminati. I'm not going to go to like that level with it, particularly because I'm not Christian and I don't really have like the mental ammo to even like to do that analysis.
Yeah, no, I couldn't. It would be a disservice.
Right.
Honestly.
To be fair to like that interpretation, there is a ton of Christian like information in this movie.
And symbolism. Yeah.
Quotations straight from the Bible, religious ideas. They call our main character a Messiah.
A Messiah of shit.
A Messiah of shit. So like it's not unfounded to take a like deeply Christian reading of this movie in whatever way you want.
Totally.
That is not the way that I'm going to read it just because it's not who I am. And I just don't think it's like more important than the other reading.
No, I think they went a little too deep on that explanation.
For
just
sure.
Just a touch, you know. Yeah. I feel like they really fell into a rabbit hole and started looking for things that weren't necessarily there, but to each their own. There's
a bunch of stuff there, but I do think like when you start connecting it all together, it gets very like red stringy.
No shit.
But, okay, we're going to set that aside.
Yeah.
What this movie is really about is human behavior.
Yeah.
Specifically in the context of greed and altruism. It's about the fact that people most often like don't do the right thing.
Yeah.
When they have the chance to.
Yes, even if it would further benefit them later on. Still.
And the fact that that's kind of the way that we are in most cases, it generates the system that we live in, which is capitalistic.
Yes.
Right? And this movie is pretty scathing of the failures of capitalism.
Yes. But also has critiques on other other hierarchies like that too. Like, I mean, it's pretty scathing of communism as well.
Yeah, it's almost like the movie is not presenting communism and capitalism as being like equal or worth talking about in the same way, because capitalism is a functioning system that you can critique.
And it's current, you know.
The way that this movie portrays communism is as an ever-failing ambition to change capitalism. And a bunch of characters try different like little plans and strategies to like be more communistic.
Yeah.
I guess before we get into that, we should, I guess, describe it's the premise. But,
It's
but the point is they they don't necessarily like critique communism because communism is not ever instantiated.
Yeah.
They just have a bunch of examples of ways that communism fails over and over, which are kind of like arguments against it
to an extent,
but not literally.
Yeah.
Like,
I mean, and I get it too. But we should explain.
Yeah, right.
So the whole premise of this entire movie is you have a vertical. What is it called? A
vertical self-management center.
Yes, yeah, that's what it is.
The VSC.
But essentially, it's just a tower that has a platform that is in the center of each floor, right? And this thing is structured from floor 0 to an ambiguous number of floors.
So there's a hole in the center of each room. Each room is a 2-man cell. It's a prison. Yeah, and the platform just goes from top to bottom.
Every day. Goes down, stops at each floor, and on this platform is enough food to feed the entirety of the complex.
Yeah.
And you can eat what you can eat.
There's no rules.
Nope.
The platform just comes down and it starts on level 1. And the people at level 1 can just eat as much as they can until the platform leaves. I think it stays roughly for a minute.
Yeah, a minute or two, something like that.
It's not very long. Yeah. And you're not allowed to hoard food. So you can eat while the platform is at you. You can't keep anything.
If you do, the room either becomes very hot or very cold very quickly.
The administration kills you, basically, if you hoard food. That's the only rule. So you eat as much as you want or can or whatever. I mean, you can do anything. You can pee on all the food.
Whatever.
People are taking shits on the food.
It's really gross.
People are taking shits on each other.
Oh, right into his eye, too, man.
Yeah, like right on the forehead.
Oh, that was so gross. So the first thing I thought when I saw that was like, oh, that's some bad pink eye coming, bro.
So you have this premise, right, that is obviously about resource management.
Yes.
It's about like wealth distribution in a capitalistic society. The people at the top get the first pick, and depending on how much they take, that will depend how much the people below them have to pick from, so on and so forth. There's 333 levels.
Yes, so we don't even find that out until way late in the movie. It's left really unclear.
No one really knows how deep the platform goes, the hole as they call, or the pit as they call it, which maybe is itself a metaphor for like the ignorance of the world, like you know, because you can get caught in a rabbit hole. Have you ever tried to like think about ethical consumption under capitalism, and you think to yourself, okay, Nikes were made in China by like underpaid child laborers who commit suicide at like a much higher rate, right? So I won't buy Nikes.
Yeah.
But then that leads you to like buying something else. And
where were those made? You know?
You get into this sort of like ping-ponging of like searching for something more ethical and then finding out that that's not good. And then the thing that like that's being sourced from is like even in worse conditions. And then you find out that like iPhones are being mined from like the batteries are made from like lithium, which is being mined in the Congo by like slaves, like literal slaves.
The blood mines in the Congo are so fucked up.
So just this idea that like you can live in America and you're on one level of capitalism, right? Where like even in America, there's like rich, middle, poor, super poor.
Yeah, like absolute poverty. But absolute poverty in America, it doesn't look anything like absolute poverty in another place.
It's still not slave mining lithium in the Congo, right? So
absolutely.
Like there's levels to the levels, and you don't really have a good sense if you grew up the way that I grew up, which is like middle class, white in America in the modern world. You don't have a good sense of like how deep this goes.
Absolutely, it's really hard to tell, and they do an amazing job of just hiding that. You know,
right?
Like, we are actually like built to not know. You know, they want that illusion to be forever. Yeah.
So this movie is presenting you with a pretty clear moral allegory about like capitalism, consumption, human greed, morality.
Yeah.
And then it's showing you through his interactions with different characters a bunch of different ways that you can approach this sort of situation, I guess.
Yeah.
That we all are in. Not by choice. We're just in it.
We're just in it. We're living it right now.
We were born here.
Yeah.
We were given our platform, and you just have to make choices.
Yeah.
So the first character that he's like born into, his cellmate on what's
48.
Level 48 is his first level. Real asshole.
Real piece of shit. Yeah.
He's an older man, which I think is important. They say that you get more conservative the older you get.
They say that. Like, I don't know. I hope that's not true, to be honest.
I mean, they say it because, I mean, it's mostly true fiscally speaking. Like, people get more concerned with putting down roots, raising a family. These things require, like, financial commitments. So you get more concerned. For better or worse, you become more self-centered, I guess. Like, typically, the older you get, because you're, like, getting more invested into, like, your community and your family.
Yeah. There's more on the line.
And that goes hand in hand with, like, broadly speaking, conservatism, where like you're more interested in like getting what you need and providing for your people,
keeping that for yourself,
and like not super concerned with like what's going on in rural Florida or Compton or Detroit, Flint, Michigan.
Yeah, and then even farther, any other country. It's like, why would you?
It's the whole Brexit thing. It's a lot of the economic discourse around the MAGA thing. It's just like, fuck you, I need mine.
Yes, got to get my bag.
And so I think it is important that the character is older. He's an old man who's really set in his like ideology.
Yeah. It's obvious.
So obvious.
So obvious. It's ridiculous.
Dude, what is up with how much they say obvious?
I don't know. Well, I guess because it's
not obvious.
It's either not obvious in some ways, like what you should do. You know, it's not obvious, but it's also obvious how wrong it all is. I would say too. You know?
The old man is consistently telling the younger man that it's obvious. His answers are obvious. And is it just obvious because he's old? And so he is ideologically like entrenched. So he thinks you're dumb for not agreeing with him. Probably
to an extent.
And to a younger man, this is still like an open question, right? Like what is the right way to be?
Well, it's obvious. You fucking eat people.
If an older man tells you that it's obvious what you need to do is what they want you to do, you might be going down the wrong path.
You might be. Isn't that weird?
You might be being led astray, like a lamb to the slaughter.
Yeah.
By the Samurai Plus self-sharpening knife.
What the fuck is that, dude? I would love that sort of technology.
I don't know what that represents. Each character is allowed to bring an item. Our main character brings a book, Don Quixote.
Yes, which we have discussed previous to this. Neither of us know well by any means.
We have not read the book. Yeah. This movie is re-solidifying the fact that we really need to read Don Quixote.
Right.
It keeps getting referenced in all these classic pieces of art.
What was the other one we watched that referenced it? I forgot.
It was a Nick Cage movie.
Was it?
Well, it came up only because someone said Quixotical.
Oh, okay.
And we talked about Don Quixote briefly. But Don Quixote does come up in a lot of art. And obviously that's for good reason.
Yeah.
And obviously if we had read that movie, if we had read that book, we would probably understand some element of this movie a bit better.
Absolutely. It seemed like it was quite important.
Yeah.
But, you know, I'm sure most of you haven't read it either. So we're all on the same page.
The old man does not bring a book. He brings a knife.
Yeah, which
is Samurai Plus.
Yes, a self-sharpening knife that he bought from a TV ad before he threw a television out of his fucking window and crushed some illegal immigrant on a bicicleta.
Yeah. There's so much to unpack from that story.
Seriously.
So this old man, he bought the samurai It's not the Samurai Plus. The first one he buys is like
The Samurai Max.
the Samurai Max, and it's like this really sharp knife that is better than every other knife. Right? He's just on the shopping channel, right? And he's an old man, so he buys the product. The very next commercial is for a better knife called the Samurai Plus.
Well, I think it was the first one was a knife sharpener.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
And then he gets the commercial is for the self-sharpening knife, and he's so infuriated that he got duped that he like throws his TV out the window and kills an illegal immigrant.
Yeah, that's what he says.
But then he says that because he claims that because the guy's an illegal immigrant, he shouldn't have been there.
Yeah.
So the fact that he killed him isn't his fault.
Yeah, that's such a crazy justification.
Right, dude?
That is so psychopathic, honestly.
To like not take responsibility for your actions because you don't believe in like the legitimacy of the victim.
Yeah, because he shouldn't have been here.
He was illegal. He shouldn't have been here. So therefore, if I kill him, it's not even a crime.
Not even a crime. Yeah. Well, I mean, we see this in multiple ways too. You know, I mean, we get him not taking any responsibility for literally murdering his cellmates and then eating our protagonists.
Later on, they get transferred from level 48 to like level 171, and no food is coming down that low.
No.
And the protagonist wakes up day one on level 171.
After they were just starting to like kind of become friendly too.
Yeah.
You know, like really actually like kind of bonding a little bit after all the weird shit that they did together.
He wakes up bound and gagged to his bed, and the old man is like lurching over him with his Samurai Plus knife, talking about how
he's this little snail.
He's his snail. He's like telling him he's gonna eat him, but like not all at once. He's gonna like peel some of the skin so that he can eat him, and he'll give you your share too. He's like, "You want me to eat myself?" He's like, "Think of your survival,
dude."
And that's crazy. But the young guy is like, he basically tells him you're responsible for this, not the circumstances,
not the administration.
Because the old man says, "This is not my fault. The administration is it's the people above me are making me do this." He's blaming his circumstances for his choices, and you do see that in life a lot.
Oh yeah, all the time.
Yeah, people feel like they have no options, so they do whatever they think is gonna work, no matter what the morality of the choice is.
Yeah,
right? They justify it, and they do sort of like an ends justify the means type of rationale.
Yeah.
But the younger guy's like, no, this is not the people above us.
Yeah, I want you to know it is you.
Yeah,
just you.
And yeah, the old man just like can't understand that.
No, yeah, I mean he's been spending clearly his whole life doing exactly that.
Right. He's so transactional that back on level 48, he says he's going to stop talking to him, to the younger man, because he's giving him a bunch of information, but he's not getting any back. And he's like, it's only fair that if I give you information, you give me some.
Talking about fairness, dude. What a dick.
It's only fair.
Yeah.
And this is like the sort of the core of the capitalist argument, right? That you give, you get equal value. It's all about the fair equivalent exchange.
Yeah.
Whether that's resources, labor, information, everything's for sale. And nothing can be given without like getting an equal.
Yeah.
Like the man is not even willing to talk to him without getting something back. Even in prison, even in the hole.
Yep.
He's still like tried and true, dyed in the wool capitalist.
It's just so silly to me, man. I don't know. Like I don't even know what to make of that. It's like it's just sad, really. It's really just sad to see someone who's so entrenched in their own beliefs like that. Like even in that situation, he's not willing to just like be good at all.
Obviously, he's being presented by the filmmakers as like the extreme end, like the worst version of capitalism, the unyielding need for value to
Yeah.
create value, the inability to just like be a human
Yeah.
for free, to just like do something.
Out of the goodness of your heart.
Yeah, just because it's better to do it.
Yeah.
You don't get anything from it.
Even if like helping someone would give you satisfaction, it's still not like a monetary resource.
You
It's
still
not
have to
value.
pay me.
Yeah.
Pay me money.
Give me money.
So the old man, he represents the sort of darkest version of capitalism, and he goes crazy. He tries to cannibalize our guy.
Mm-hmm. It does a little.
Yeah, he gets his knife in there.
Yeah.
However, the guy is rescued,
Yes, by Miharu.
and only because Miharu is this woman who travels between levels by riding the platform.
Yeah, she always, every month from wherever she starts, she goes down and she is looking for her son.
Yeah, she says she's looking for her son. She's clearly deranged.
Yeah.
She's hyper violent.
Yeah, really quite an effective and vicious killer, too.
Yeah. If you touch her, she kills you.
Pretty much.
If you don't touch her, she's just passive and just sort of passes through your platform or through your level, and that's that. But our main guy is like nice to her. His natural inclination is like innocent.
Yeah.
And he's just nice to her when she travels through the first time, and she remembers that. And when she travels through this next time, she catches the old man in the act of trying to cannibalize him.
Fucking
Yeah.
slits his throat, dude.
Yeah, she kills him. Well, she mortally wounds him and actually gives the knife to the other guy.
Yeah.
And he finishes the job.
Yeah. Which, kind of, that's fair, right? That's capitalism, baby.
That's the equivalent exchange.
Yeah.
It's so creepy. The old man tries to make an argument that like actually what the young guy did by killing him is much worse.
Yeah.
Because he's like, you're not treating me with the same level of dignity and respect that I was treating you.
Yeah, I was going to bandage your wounds every time I ate you.
I was just eating a little bit of you just to survive, and I was even feeding you some of it. And he's like doing this justification that like I needed to cannibalize you a little bit, but like you were going to be fine, and we were in this together.
Yeah.
And then when he kills him, he has like the hallucinations of him in his guilty conscience. And the conscience version of the old man is like, now I will be with you forever.
Yeah,
like,
I am inside of you.
Your
I am
guilt
with you.
carries me forever. And
It's gross, dude.
yeah, I don't know. The old man deserved to die.
100%. Yeah. I hated him immediately.
He was creepy.
So creepy. Great acting, too, by the way. I just, this whole movie is pretty spectacular on the acting side of it.
For sure. What do you think about the book versus the knife? Those are the two items that our first characters choose to bring with them.
I mean, it's kind of just like it's pretty clear that the book is brought by someone who is still caring. He still really holds knowledge important and learning, and like he's using that to like try and better himself. He's using the book. That's why he brought it. He said he wants to quit smoking and he wants to read Don Quixote.
Yeah.
And then the old man just brings a knife so that he can slaughter and eat people when he needs to. I don't really know what it's representing. It's just like, man.
There's a dynamic in this film that I think those two objects represent, but also a lot of the actions sort of like represent as well. But there's this dichotomy between like ideals and needs. People have ideals, and they try to use those ideals to like change the world.
Yeah.
And to better themselves and, to lead a moral life.
Sure.
But they also have needs. And when their needs aren't met, it changes their ideals.
Yeah, really quickly, too. The desperation brings out the animalism in it very quickly.
A lot of these scenes are like sort of reflections of some dynamic of those two ideas like in play, ideals versus needs. And I just think that like this movie is showing you a lot of the ways in which ideals without power get you nowhere.
Yeah.
Right? You need the knife more than you need the book.
Yeah.
But if you only have the knife, I don't know, you have nothing to live for,
Yeah.
right? But the book without the knife just gets you killed,
Pretty much.
right?
Yeah.
You need power, and you need to have the willingness to like do violence, to like exert force.
Yeah. That's shown really well once him and Baharat go down the whole way. And it's like, yes, dialogue is very important first, but as soon as they start trying to eat, you kill them. And it's,
right. The old man, the wise old man, gives him that advice.
Yeah.
It's really good. He's like, you need to start a dialogue first.
Yeah.
That's more important. People need to know what you're trying to do, and they need to respect you for doing it. And you got to talk to them.
Some people are quite responsive to it, too. They totally listen. I'm glad that it showed a couple instances. It
showed some instances of good behavior.
But still, it showed more of bad behavior.
And then they have to like use violence. They're beating people with clubs to protect the food as they ride the platform down to try to distribute the food to the lower levels. But yeah, I just think the knife in the book is a core element of like the philosophy of this movie.
Yeah.
That's without power, you can't really change the world. Like ideals alone just like won't do it.
Yeah.
But power without ideals also just turns you into like a maniac.
Yeah. Literally a wild
like
animal.
A cannibal.
Yeah. Absolutely.
You need some sort of balance of the two.
And hope that balance is well fit.
Yeah.
You know, and with like hopefully the correct morals too, you know.
Yeah, man.
Fucking sticky situation, bro.
I love that this movie just gives you so much to think about, but it doesn't really give you any answers.
Yeah, it's very open-ended.
You're going to have to do a lot of the intellectual work on the back end after you watch a movie like this. They're not doing your homework for you.
Yeah, no, I'm still, still rattling around in my head quite intensely. You know, there's just so much thrown at you in such a short amount of time with this thing.
There was an interesting sort of throwaway line. The old man was talking about how by the end of the month there would be less people on the lower levels.
Yeah.
And that's very obvious that he's referring to like starvation or murder or suicide or, things that you would associate with extreme poverty, hunger, whatever. But then he also mentions that the higher levels will also have fewer people.
Yeah.
And that it's better to be in the middle. And the younger man doesn't really understand that. And he says to him, they have nothing to look forward to and a lot of time to think about it. And it just reminded me of a real life statistic that suicide rates, and this is a little bit counterintuitive, suicide rates are higher among the wealthy than among the impoverished, at least in America specifically.
Yeah.
It's just a very interesting little fact about our society.
Yeah. I mean, it kind of makes sense, when you have everything, when all your needs are fulfilled, and then you start searching for things that are a little more existential. Someone with a fragile mind might really fall into that very quickly.
Yeah. One of the things that they say is that like people who don't have their needs met have a lot of work to do.
Yeah.
And they don't have time for suicide.
Yeah. I mean, I mean? The drive's there too, It's like I got to get out of this.
Yeah. There's no time for that shit. It's like, I got to go to work. I got kids to feed. And I don't want to speak with like too general, like too broad of a brush or whatever.
Of course.
So don't take this the wrong way.
Yeah.
But, people that need stuff like are working to get that stuff and they tend not to kill themselves. But people that have everything already, they have a lot of time to just sort of like get depressed.
Yeah. Definitely.
Being depressed and suicidal and like reading dark existential philosophy books while eating really expensive food and driving to your good job in a Mercedes Benz
Yeah.
is a luxury of the upper class.
Absolutely. I mean, God, especially for like people who didn't work for any of it, you know, just like luck, born into a mega rich family, and then you're just, then what? You know,
you likely have access to pharmaceutical drugs.
Oh yeah.
You have no drive or ambition because you have no needs, right? So like, yeah, you just wallow around and think about the darkness of life instead of just like living through it.
Yeah, or just overwhelm yourself with like you said, pharmaceuticals, any other drugs too.
Yeah, I just thought that was an interesting tidbit of the movie that they don't expand on, but it does correlate to real, like, empirical evidence about the world.
Yeah,
that a lot of people don't know.
Well, it is, like you said, it's extremely counterintuitive.
Right.
You know, like you would think that people who have so little are more likely to kill themselves, and you know, it's
they're just not.
It's just not the case most of the time.
Now, I'm not saying they're not more self-destructive.
Yes.
we see that, but
yes, of course.
But straight suicides, it's not the same. This movie is probably the most like distilled embodiment of class consciousness that I've ever seen.
I just don't know how you could do it better. Like really, right. You know,
it's like physical levels.
Yes, it's
food goes top to bottom.
Yes, it's literally vertical. Like you can't really get more on the nose than that.
At one point, his second cellmate partner is a woman who is a bit of an idealist.
For sure.
And she is trying to give instructions to the people below them.
Yeah.
What she does is she prepares portions for them to eat and then instructs them to only eat those portions and then create a similar portion for the people below you. And if everyone creates the same portions and relays the same instructions and everyone follows it, then everyone will be able to eat. And she knows this because she worked for the administration before voluntarily coming in here.
Yeah.
For reasons unknown.
Yeah. But she also is unreliable. She does not have the correct information.
No.
You know, which is super shitty. She thinks there's 200 floors. There's not.
There's more.
Yeah, there's 333 floors.
But interestingly, the people below her will never listen to her. She keeps trying to rationalize and use like logic to argue for the ethical choice.
Yeah.
And they're just like, fuck you, I'm eating as much as I want.
Yeah, and it helps. I mean, it helps with this part of the story too. They're in level 6 at this point. 6 or 7, right?
No, 6 was when he was with Bahara.
Oh,
and they
yeah,
went down.
33, which is still
it's
really
still a pretty
solid.
good level.
Yeah, you are going to get
solid upper middle class.
Yes, for sure.
You know, but the guy finally gets, after like 2 weeks of her trying to rationalize with the people below her, and they're not listening. The guy finally gets fed up with it, and he's like, listen up, scumbags.
Yeah.
He's like, if you don't follow her orders, I'm going to shit in the food every single day. I'm going to smear it into all the food.
Every grain of rice.
Everything is going to be covered in my shit if you don't listen to her. And they listen to her.
Yeah.
Because they know he's going to do it.
Well, yeah, I mean, that's in a direct, that's a direct comparison to what you're saying about the knife in the book. It's like, her ideals are good faith. She's right. But until there's some power behind it, it's not going to fucking happen. They need the fear of eating literal shit before they start to. You got to
threaten them with violence. But then she's like, "Well, let's get everyone above us to comply with these rules as well, and then everyone will truly get all the same food." And he's like, "I can't make the people above us comply.
Yeah, they're above us."
And she's like, "Why not?" And what he says is, "Well, I can't shit upwards."
Yeah.
And just this concept of like the shit only goes down, right? And that's like the core class consciousness of this movie.
Yeah.
The people above you really just have no incentive to listen to you.
Yeah, why would they? I mean, unless you can form some sort of power above unless you can become above them. Like,
exactly.
There's no reason. Why would they?
It just demonstrates the feeling of helplessness that like working class people have.
Yeah.
in the face of someone like Elon Musk or Jeff Bezos, who have these billions of dollars. They own so much infrastructure, so much capital.
Yeah.
They have so much power to like shape the country and enact their will upon like their environment. And then we just have to sort of like clock in, clock out, do what you're told.
Go to your job. You're a wage slave.
Earn your peanuts. Buy your groceries.
Then they're going to keep making those groceries more expensive, and you're going to have to work harder, so you don't have any time to even consider having some sort of power above them.
And yeah, you just have no power.
Yeah.
And you don't have a good way of getting more power without violence.
Without violence, and you need mass violence.
Yeah.
You know, it needs to be like an entire, not even community, like, you know, the entire system needs to completely revolt. And even then, it might not work.
And in the film, obviously, there's no physical way to go up. Like, you can't actually get there. In real life, we could perhaps talk about revolution, about going and, you know, killing people or doing riots.
Cutting off the head, the guillotines, all that shit.
You can have that conversation in real life, but within the context of the movie, there's actually just no way for them to get up there. One character brings a rope. And he tries to get up.
Yeah.
They're on level 6 at one point, and Baharat has his rope, and he's yelling up to them. He's like, I'm going to throw up a rope. Bring me up. And he's so pathetic compared to them. They're trying to like, they're like clearly making fun of him.
Yeah, they goad him into doing it for sure.
And he's like, look, honey, this guy wants to come up to our level.
Yeah.
And he's like, I believe in God. I'm a God-fearing man. He's like, what God do you believe in?
The one true
The
God.
one true God. He's like, he thinks he believes in the same God as us.
Yeah. And then they also just fucking shit on him for literally shit on him, and then shit on him for being black too.
Yeah,
and
they let him throw the rope up. They hold it for a sec. They let him climb like 3/4 of the way up, and then he looks up, and they literally take a shit on his head, and then he falls down, and barely survives because our main character has to like pull him back in.
Fucking sad, dude.
Yeah,
It really is.
it's disgusting, and the sad part is that like I just totally believe it that there are very rich people in the world that really, really revel in the idea of like shitting on my head.
Yeah. I mean, and not even just that, they're just disgusted by our existence.
Right.
Like at a base level. It's like, and it's not even that like it's that they're instilled with this from birth, you know?
Like I can't even believe in the same God they believe in.
No, it must be a different God because it's these filthy people. Dude, it's fucked up, man. I don't even know what the hell is gonna happen. Like it's a real issue.
Yeah.
You know? Like outside of the movie, obviously, in real life.
No, in real life. We've got a severe wealth disparity, not only a disparity, but also like a systematic way of enforcing our like sort of economic roles through like police and military. A lot of like physical threats against you if you try to buck the trend, you know?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, and it's just also, you know, even nowadays, if there was like a full revolution, whatever, with modernized technology, I think it's still pretty helpless, you know?
Right, with like sonar weapons. Have you seen like the sonic weapons that they can use on crowds? People just shut down.
Yeah, you can't do anything. You
They
can't
just
move.
shut you down. It's like way worse than like rubber bullets and tasers. It just like shuts your body down.
Yeah.
Let alone like if they release like a drone swarm.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like an automated drone swarm that just like targets dissenters.
Yeah. Yeah, man. Dark times.
Yeah, so we'll
Truly.
see where things go. In the context of the movie, I thought it was also very interesting that you have this self-contained system, right? The whole, the vertical self-management center. And within this system, there are all these levels, right? So there's a class consciousness within the whole. But there's also a world outside the whole
Yes.
And there are people above level 1 that are making all the food.
Yes.
It's like an administration and like a chef. And I just like thought that it's very interesting, the 2 levels of class consciousness. There's like a separate whole where within that they fight each other.
Yeah.
But then that whole itself is lower than the whole rest of the world.
Yeah.
It made me think of like the old saying, like crabs in a bucket. Where like one crab tries to climb up and the one below him pulls him back down. It's like if you can keep everyone in a sort of like closed system of competition, none of them can escape and none of them can threaten the powers that are like outside of that system.
That's depressing.
Right?
It makes me think, like, what do you think necessarily the chef and then all of the workers represent? For me, it was like almost like the necessary worker class of the elite, because they still need people to do their specific jobs, their housekeeping, all of that shit.
Yeah.
And I mean, that's the only thing I could really think of, other than the direct need for the food in the movie.
Yeah. I mean, they're the only people outside of the hole that you see are the chef laborers. They're like line cooks, basically, and one head chef. And then you see like one administrator who ends up in the hole.
Yeah.
Voluntarily somehow.
Yeah, you don't see anyone who's like actually an elite.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So the fact that they're showing us working class people, even in the real world, is, I think, again, it's indicative of this fact that like what you're seeing in the hole is a microcosm of what you would be seeing in the world.
Yeah.
Right. And the line cooks are like working class. They're sort of bottom. I guess they'd be like more middle because at least they have jobs.
At least they have jobs.
They're not like lithium mine slaves.
Yes. Yes, they are. They're probably allowed to leave.
Yeah.
One would think or hope.
But I do think that they're included in the movie, and references to the world are included in the movie to remind you that you're supposed to take the lessons of this movie with you into your world. Like it's a symbol for the real economy. It's not just like some sort of like human centipede movie where we're being gory just to be gory, and it's just like a crazy concept.
Yeah.
Like Cube.
Cube 2, Hypercube.
This isn't Cube. It's not just like some crazy set design, like let's do a platform movie. They want to make sure that you take away the idea that like this is your life.
Yeah, for the far majority of people. I mean, most people are not the administration.
Exactly.
Like
even if you're on level 1, you're not the administration.
No.
Right?
Yeah, even if you have first choice of all the food, all of that shit, you are still a prisoner.
Even in America, like even if you have $10 million, 3 cars, you
ain't shit, really.
You're still not in control.
No, absolutely not. You still are, to an extent, you have to abide by the law to an extent. You're looser. You can play with those rules a lot more. You have more interaction with the individual societal rules, but
you get first pick of things you want to own.
Yeah.
But, I mean, we just watched Donald Trump, like, intentionally put up a bunch of bad tariffs, sink the stock market, buy the dip, and then take them back and watch it recover. He made so much money.
Yeah, like $450 million or something.
Dude, the guy he was with, Charles Schwab.
Yeah.
He was like, this is Charles Schwab. Turns out it's not just a company. It's a guy. He said that in the Oval Office. He's like, Charles just made $1 billion.
He's bragging about it.
Yeah. Oh, he's bragging about it. Charles Schwab made $1 billion buying the dip on when Trump tanked the economy. It tanked the stock market.
Man, I do not get it. I don't get
how his own, like, how the GOP, like the party itself, is like still supporting him. Like, it's such a crazy dynamic.
For me, they're probably like, they think this ship has sailed.
They want to be in on the winning team, even if they're
Yep.
like a lower level.
Yep. That's my only rationalization of it, as far as it goes.
Because the dude is going buck wild.
Yes, he is. It's crazy how many movies we've been watching recently that are really scary.
But yeah, if you're rich in America, you're still not the administration for the most part. Like, you can go buy a lot of stuff and have a great house, but you're not in control of your world in the way that those guys are. You're still operating within their system that they fully own. And if they want to fuck with you, they can.
Yeah.
That's gnarly.
We're fucked, kids. Oh.
Should we talk about the end of this movie and the message?
Sure, if there is one.
Not the message of the movie, but
The message.
the characters get obsessed with sending a message.
Yes, they do.
They think that if they ride the platform all the way to the bottom and distribute the food like equally, basically do a communism by force scenario, and then are able to send one perfectly preserved dish all the way back to the top. What they decide is the panna cotta. The panna cotta is the message. But if they can get this perfect looking panna cotta all the way to the bottom and then send it back up to the kitchen, then the administration will get the message.
Yeah.
They do not really elucidate what the message is supposed to be.
Or what the administration is supposed to do.
What is the
message.
response to the message?
Like, they're going to just like, okay, everybody can go. Actually, we're sorry.
Yeah. Oh, it
Social
turns out
experiment complete.
it turns out they did spontaneous solidarity. Close the hole.
Yeah.
So I'm not really clear on what the message is or how they expect the administration to respond to the panna cotta.
Yeah.
But they get obsessed with chaperoning a panna cotta to the bottom and sending it back to the top.
Yeah.
They get it through a lot of violence.
They do. They protect it. They get it to the bottom.
They almost get it to the bottom.
Yeah.
They find a young child on like the 300th level or something like that, like very close to the bottom.
Yeah, Miharu's daughter, it turns out.
Yeah. And the administrator woman said that no one under 16 is allowed in, but this girl is clearly like 8 or 9, very young.
Definitely.
They find her, and she's like under her bed. She's alone in her cell. She has no cellmate. She's like kind of healthy and clean.
Yeah, it is very strange how clean she is in comparison to literally everyone else in this movie.
And then
I think that leads credence to what we were reading too.
Right. They get off the platform because they think it's the bottom. And then the platform goes down lower and they are like, no, like we missed our chance. And they can't get on it without like jumping too far of a distance. So they're kind of stuck on this level.
Yeah.
So they decide to feed the girl the panna cotta.
Yeah, she's clearly very hungry.
She eats it. And then like some time passes and they ride the next time it comes down, they ride it to the true bottom with the girl.
Yeah, it's like directly under floor 333 is just like this big cavernous space. It's totally...
It's what you would call liminal space.
Yeah, essentially. I mean,
you don't see the walls. It just like fades into darkness in the distance.
Yes, in every direction. And it's just, a platform with the only, or, a room with the only light being the hole from above.
Yeah, it's like a beam of light. And they're just down in this like sub-basement. And he sends the girl back up because she is the message. Now that they don't have the panna cotta, she's the message.
Yeah.
And the movie ends with her riding back up. They don't show you what happens when she gets to the top.
Yeah. And so we were reading some stuff, and it seems like there's a decent consensus, at least. I don't know.
It's at least credible
that
she doesn't exist.
Yeah.
And possibly that the panna cotta also does not exist.
Yeah.
Because one of the rules, or like maybe the only rule, is that if you keep food after the platform leaves, the administration will like turn the temperature up or down on your room until it kills you or until you abandon the food. And they keep the panna cotta when they get off the platform on the girls' level. And then they even remark, they're like, wait, it's not getting hot. Yeah, it's not getting cold.
Yeah. Yeah, I really have no idea what to take away from that. Pretty much that entire sequence. I mean, I don't know. I kind of think it's all fake. It seems like it's a delusion. This is coming from at least the point of view of someone who has been having very active hallucinations.
Yes, he's been hallucinating the whole movie about these other characters who have died.
That he also ate.
We did read online that in the Don Quixote book, Cervantes has hallucinations and illusions, so it's probably a reference to Don Quixote having the same thing, which lends credence to the idea that this is also a hallucination.
Yeah.
The fact that the panna cotta doesn't trigger the temperature response means that, like, materially speaking, it's not there.
Yeah.
Right? Unless the administration is making an exception, but why would they?
Why would they?
We've been given no reason to believe that there would be some sort of random exception.
Yeah, and how would they know? It's never been alluded to that there's any sort of surveillance in the thing, Well, I guess kind of.
I assume they're watching.
Yeah, I guess, and it does show that when there's no one living on a floor, it doesn't stop.
Yeah, it passes through empty levels.
Yeah. Also, doesn't make any sense that the girl would exist and for Miharu to never find her.
Right.
Because
she travels the whole thing every month.
And even like the last time we see her alive, before they're coming down the hole, like she leaves him again. It's like, why would she stop? Unless she was forced to, but then again, she has that knife. I don't know.
It's very confusing and symbolic, and I'm not sure that the symbolism was made clear enough.
Yeah.
I think the economic stuff, the capitalism, the communism, all that is very clear and easy to read. The stuff at the end, very unclear.
Yes.
What it's meant to be saying.
Much more metaphorical. I have no idea. Really, I also have an interesting question for you. What do you think about the sequel being made? Is that just like a like it seems so?
I mean, ironically, I think it's just a cash grab.
Of course, but like that is so ironic.
Yeah, we haven't seen it yet.
No, yeah.
I've read bad reviews.
It got a 34 on Rotten Tomatoes.
And this is just the kind of movie that doesn't need a sequel, or like it's more just that, like, I feel like structurally it can't have a sequel.
Yeah.
If you make another movie that's just like another version of the platform, why would you do that?
Yeah, I don't know. And it's by the same director too, and it's almost like kind of unethical a little bit.
And then if you make a sequel to this movie that's not just the platform, but it's like platform extended universe where you get to see like the administration out in the world, you get more lore and backstory. It's like, great, but that's not the platform.
No,
that's just
like
a different sci-fi movie about a world where the platform exists.
Yeah.
I have the same critique with like Westworld season 3. It's just not Westworld anymore.
Yeah.
It's a sci-fi show that is taking place in the world where Westworld took place.
Yeah.
But is now not Westworld. And it's its own thing. It's like, fine, you can continue the story, and I get that it's expanding. Like, I don't not understand the story.
Yeah, of course.
It's just not the same, like, media anymore.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, it just seems it's like really missing the point, at least for the platform.
Right. And then if you're going to make a cash grab, it's like, have you just undercut the entire message of your movie?
I know. That's kind of how I was like, I was reading a comment about it being, like this is really kind of dirty.
Like, it was just Netflix cashing in on the hype of the first one, which was wildly, like, it was received well.
Yeah, very well. It was like 91% or something on Rotten
Right.
Tomatoes.
So they're like, well, we got to do it again.
That's gross.
But
I mean, that is also in itself maybe he knew that was going to happen.
Is it becoming meta?
Yeah.
This is an Ouroboros of critique.
Holy shit. But yeah. And maybe he made it bad on purpose. That's awesome.
He tanked it?
Yep. We got to watch it, dude.
Yeah, we'll watch it.
We'll watch it for something coming soon.
We are considering the option of starting to do some shorter additional episodes on bad movies.
Yes, we just love tearing movies apart, man.
I love shitting on a movie.
Yes, absolutely.
Oh yeah, come up to my platform. Yeah, I'll shit on its head. So we're considering. Let us know in the comments if you'd be interested in some shorter episodes that are like midweek, maybe like Mondays and then Thursdays, where we watch bad movies on purpose and make fun of them.
Yes, I think that would be very entertaining. It might do better than the normal podcast. But, it's a gateway into this. Come into the universe through shitty movies.
Right. So, let us know if you're interested in that. Maybe we'll do Platform 2 as a Trash Talk Thursday.
Trash Talk Thursday, baby. Let's go.
There's one quote that was said at the end of the movie that I want to get in here before we end. They said that the owner of wealth who is not generous will be a filthy beggar. It is not about spending, they said, what is more important than having money is spending it well, not spending it capriciously, which is like a fancy way of saying in a mean-spirited way. Yeah. It's about spending it well. So like having resources isn't inherently evil. Yeah. Is sort of the takeaway of that quote. As long as you spend those resources in a way that like improves other people's lives, like improve the world with your money.
It's so confusing to me. I mean, I don't have the perspective of being a hyper rich person, It's like maybe I guess that could turn me into some sort of sick fuck, but like I just don't get why you wouldn't want to make the world better. Like I just don't I can't like in every atom of my body. I'm just like, why would you not want to just experience a better time for everyone?
Dude, have you ever heard of the rationalists? And I don't mean the like 18th century European philosophers.
You're talking
like
about the modern day recent rationalists, like Elon's bullshit.
Yes, Elon Musk counts himself as well as
Sam, what's his face?
A bunch of other people.
Yeah, they're all part of that. All
the
part of
Zizians.
The Zizian cult, yep. Yeah, bro, I'm tapped in, bro.
You're familiar with their ideology?
I am, yeah.
Are you familiar with the AI machine like thought experiment?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yes, I am. It's pretty worrisome that these are the people building these machines.
Yes. So they believe that, man, we could do a whole episode on the rationalist thought, but I don't even know how to start it without it being like a 20-minute conversation.
I know, actually, though.
Basically, they believe that there will be an AI created in the future that will be like all powerful, omniscient, basically God.
Yes, just full AGI.
And it will take over Earth and it will punish those who did not help to create it. And it will reward those who helped to create it. So once you accept that premise, if you buy into it, you have a moral obligation to accelerate the world towards its creation. Right?
Yes.
And they also believe that all activity, all human actions can be like morally quantified and compared and contrasted. So like your effort to feed a hungry family of 4 can be quantified in value compared to your effort to start a business, which would then be able to employ 18 working people, which all have families of 4. Yeah. Right. So they have this sort of like quantitative, objective, utilitarian belief system about like moral value.
Yeah, and just using some pretty weird rash logic and rationality to get there.
The long and short of it is that these people are not helping to improve our world because they think, technically speaking, that they can create a future which is so good that it outweighs any amount of help that they could give us now. And that it would, technically speaking, be a waste of their energy, resources, and money
Yeah.
to help improve the current world if they can create a future world that is so much better.
That is so backhanded and shitty, dude. It grinds my gears, bro.
They say that, but the end result is them just hoarding as much money as possible and living a disgusting life of lavishness.
Yeah.
With this like gross justification.
Yes.
That they're doing it for the future.
They're doing it for the future. Yeah, dude. That the rationality movement or rationalists, that in combination with the EAC movement.
No, what the fuck is that?
It's essentially a combination. It's that, but it's accelerated, or it's oh God. Oh fuck, I can't remember. It's acceleration. It's like an accelerationist movement essentially.
Okay.
So it's just
I think I am familiar.
taking that concept and just as fast as possible, no matter what, get there. And it doesn't matter the consequences, because when we get there,
it'll be better.
It'll be better. Yeah.
The ends justify the means.
Yeah, man. It's just like these fucking... it's like some Reddit nerds that just got too rich.
Yeah.
Like, literally.
For real.
Oh, God. And I love Reddit, but fucking A, man. There's a line in the sand.
Yeah. A lot. They're all on X now.
Yep, they're all on X. Great.
And they control the world's money supply.
Yeah, awesome. And everything else.
And all of our tech.
Yeah.
They control all of our AI and our apps.
All I'm saying is y'all better learn how to farm. Okay? Oh, shit.
What would you rate this movie?
This is a strong 9 for... Well, this is an 8 for me. It was a 9.
That's what I was going to say.
It was a 9, and then I thought about the ending again, and it's an 8.
Yeah. Man, we are always on the same page.
Fucking locked in, bro.
This movie's an 8 for me. I love the allegory.
Yes.
I love a movie that does like social economic critique, makes you think about your life. It really works on that level for me. It really works with the acting.
God, yeah, we didn't even really talk about any of the technical side of the movie.
I love the sort of like the set design, the concept of the movie. Very cool. The things that hold it back for me is, like you said, the ending.
Yeah.
Is too opaque.
Yeah.
It's too like artfully ambiguous.
Yeah, it seems like it just got a little lost in the sauce on its own symbolism and metaphorical.
I don't really like when artists, I'm going to call it a cop-out.
Yeah.
When they don't answer like enough of the questions that they've posed.
Yes, I mean, especially with such a pivotal question, like what is the message?
Yeah.
You know, I get all of the other messages, but what is this message? Why did you bring it up so many times?
I don't need to see the administration.
No.
I don't need to see the world outside. That's honestly, I think, better left untold. But there's just some things like, is the panic coda real?
Yeah.
Why didn't the trap trigger?
Is the girl real?
Is the girl alive? Is that real? Is it a hallucination? Like,
how much of it's a hallucination? Is everything below level 200 a hallucination, or you know, like, or whatever? But yeah, man, it's
right, because they call him the Messiah.
Yeah,
it's level 333, which means there's 666 prisoners, which is the devil's number, the mark of the beast. So, like, is the woman correct that there's 200 levels? And everything that he's experienced below, from the time he woke
insanity.
Up on level 202, that he's just in a religious psychotic break? Because that makes more sense than the alternative.
Yeah.
But
the problem is we don't know.
The problem is, the filmmaker has not given us adequate information, in my opinion.
Yeah.
To like interpret the last third of the movie.
Yeah.
And then also, one small gripe I have is I just don't love some of the editing in the sort of like fugue state scenes where like he's reliving memories and hallucinations.
Yeah. It's a little weird.
It's a bit too choppy and too overdone. When filmmakers do that, I just wish it was a bit more tasteful. It just kind of, I don't know.
Takes you out of it a little bit.
Yeah. It was a bit annoying.
Yeah. But still, rock solid 8.
Yeah.
Great movie. I hope you watched it. I really do.
Please tell me you didn't get to this point, to the hour and 5 minute mark, and you haven't watched it.
Dude, they're only watching this for the Zizians. That's the only reason.
Zizian talk.
Shit.
All right. Well,
Yeah.
we love y'all.
Yes.
Like, subscribe, share with your friends and family,
Please and thank you.
and leave a comment. We like the engagement.
Yeah, absolutely. We will answer questions.
No comments unreplied,
Hell yeah.
unless you're a troll.
Oh, well, maybe.
Or just unless you're below me.
Yes, yes. If you're below me. All right, dude. This has been
Quiet in the back. Goodbye.
We live in a hole, no one knows how deep. Every level down it goes, we get less to eat. That's because the people up top don't care about the rest. We could all eat what we need if we could pass this test. One man brings a book to read, the other brings a knife. Self-sharpening samurai, plus this could take your life. Reading helps you have ideals, but weapons make you strong. If only there's a way for all of us to get along. It's time to send a message. The panna cotta, perfectly preserved, could be a message. A message. Try to send to vigilante justice warriors killing people in the end. They found a little girl, but was it just a hallucination? Were there 333 platforms to represent Satan? Yes, this shit's confusing. No, you're not just dumb. Economic cleans are clear, but what the hell is the message? Power versus idealism, I can understand. Can't just have ideals and theories without power to command. So it's time to send a message. Send a message. The panna cotta, perfectly preserved, could be a message. A message. My little snail, escargot, tie you up in jail. It's your time to go. My little snail, escargot, tie you up in jail. It's your time to go. My little snail, escargot, tie you up in jail. It's your time to go. It's your time to go. My little snail, escargot, tie you up in jail.